What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. We've got another juicy slate on the NBA. I've got 2 picks and a bitch ass parlay to share with you. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
What's good, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. Recap on yesterday's video. We go 1 and 2. We managed to cash Sadiq Bey, 7 rebounds, plus money. I'll take that. We then got Cade Cunningham wrong. Bet his rebounds and assists. I said to pivot to his rebounds. I said it's going to be a fast-paced game, and provided the Pistons play good defense, the rebound should be there. Jalen Duren was pulled out of that game, and they did not play good defense at all. Both teams scoring more than 130 points, so that was a loss. Bad read. Could have been better, I guess, but the other loss was absolutely frustrating. Brandon Ingram for 25 points. I said he'd take 20-plus shots. The only thing that would screw us over is some variance if he shoots poorly. My Lord. He had 22 points going to the fourth quarter. He took, 10 shots in the fourth quarter and overtime, and he missed every single one of them. My Lord. So that was variance. It was a good read. Just unlucky with that one, unfortunately. But new day, new opportunity. Hopefully I can cash you some winners today. Let's do it. Firstly, shout out to PropsMadness, the best tool you're going to find if you like betting on NBA player props. I use this religiously. I encourage you to check it out. You do get a discount if you use my code. I've got a link for it down below in the video description, so go ahead and check out PropsMadness. Now let's get into these picks, shall we? I'll hit the 2 straight picks first, and then we can talk about this little bitch-ass parlay that I got together. But the first one I'm rolling with is the first bet that I made today. It was the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Kings. Betting on Vince Williams in this one. I feel like he owes me. Did bet on Vince Williams most recently. Bet on his assists against the Clippers. He only had 5 assists, only 4 potential assists. He took a season high shot, 17 shot attempts in that game. And I was watching this one, and I really it made sense to me as to why it happened. Not something I could have predicted, but he was defending Kawhi Leonard for a large part of that Clippers game, and Kawhi Leonard was just going off, just backing his ass down, scoring in a lot of ISO situations. And if you've never hooped before, if you're playing basketball and that happens to you, a lot of the time you want to get it back. You want to take your own opportunities. If somebody's scoring all over you, you just want to do it back. Try to, it's an ego-driven thing, and you saw that in that last game against the Clippers. A whole lot of shots. He was not happy with Kawhi Leonard scoring all over him. And then when the Grizzlies came back to win that game, Vince Williams wasn't even on the court. So the assist never came. The read wasn't great, but what happened was unexpected. He's up against the Kings today, and I'm going back to it. I'm betting he's over in assists, 7+ assists here for Vince Williams. I said it last time, without Ja Morant, he's been diamond up real well, especially since he's been in that starting lineup. The volume of passes have been very high, excluding that last game where he only passed the ball 40 times. But he had 15 assists the last time he played the Sacramento Kings. In these really soft matchups, it could be very easy for someone like Vince Williams to rack up the assists, just given the amount of times he passes the ball. He also had 17 against the New Orleans Pelicans, another soft matchup. Now, the Kings, when we're talking about the matchup, 4th most assists allowed, 8th most assists to guards, 3rd worst defensive rating. They get absolutely pulverized down low in the paint, and they get smoked in transition. It's just a great system bet, really. If you're betting against the Kings, just you have a lot of success if you either bet on one of the big guys to get rebounds, or if you bet on one of the dominant usage guards to get a lot of assists. You'll get a lot of wins that way against the Kings this season. So I'm rolling with Vince. I know he let me down in that last game, but that was a pure outlier with him shooting the ball so many times. I don't think he does that here against the Kings. So I'm rolling with the assist. And if he does happen to just shoot nonstop once again, then my system is broken and I'm probably never bet on Vince Williams again. But for now, I'm expecting him to get back to doing what he was doing prior to that game and just moving the rock around. If he passes that ball around, they've got more than enough capable scorers to get the ball, put the ball in the hole. It's a very simple play there for Vince Williams. So backing him, bouncing back after that shit show against the Clippers. The other pick that I'm rolling with today is in the Knicks game. We've got the Knicks versus the Raptors. And as much as I want to bet on Brandon Ingram because he kind of owes me as well, I'm not doing that. Scotty Barnes, been betting him a lot in the last couple of weeks, and I'm not betting on him today despite how consistent he has been. I'm betting on Josh Hart today, and I'm betting on Josh Hart over 14.5 rebounds and assists. Now, he's only hit this in 7 out of 17 games this season. The hit rate's not great. But as of late, he's really turned it up, and that's purely because he's seeing more minutes and more opportunities. We've got no OG Anunoby, no Landry Shamet. Josh Hart is now in the starting lineup again, and he's expected to play the most minutes out of anybody on this Knicks roster. So looking on the season, when he plays more than 32 minutes. You can see he's over this in 4 out of 5 games, averaging 18.2 rebounds and assists. Now, he's projected for about 37 minutes, provided this game stays close. It is a 7.5 point spread. The Raptors are on a back to back. So the risk could be a New York Knicks blowout, but I don't want to anticipate blowouts or not because I found when I bet that way, I typically get really conservative, and that's no fun for nobody. So, not assuming there's going to be a blowout. I'm just saying that there is a risk that it could be. But Josh Hart, I'm expecting him to play a lot of minutes. If there is a blowout, he'll play at least 32. That's for sure. So, looking at 32 to 40 minutes on the season, just getting these rebounds and assists like nobody's business. Assist numbers, excellent. I was going to take his over in 5.5 assists, but I think the board should be there as well in this type of matchup. But that could be a pivot. He's covered his assist line in every single game where he's been seeing the minutes. His rebounds, it's a little bit hit and miss, higher ceiling, lower floor, but he's here against the Raptors on a back-to-back. Offense probably not going to look great. There should be a lot of rebound opportunities here for Josh Hart. So I'm rolling with that. Over 14.5 rebounds and assists. The Raptors are the 9th most rebounds and assists to his position anyway on the wings. So I'm looking for Josh Hart to get busy with those rebounds and assists. Very straightforward there. Now, when we talk about this little parlay thing that I have, and it's nothing amazing, and it's relatively straightforward as well. So I'm looking at the Atlanta Hawks versus Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers, there's a lot of injury news in that team, so I haven't really taken too much of a look into that because I don't know who the hell is going to be playing. But in this game for the Hawks, they're missing Kristaps Porzingis and Trae Young still. And typically how I start my research when players are out, I just click through all the players and I think to myself, how do these guys play and perform without Kristaps and Trae Young? And there were two that stood out to me. The first one's Jalen Johnson's points. His points line is 25. That 25-point line is the highest he's had all season. So I was a little bit hesitant to bet the over despite me leaning that way. It is a plus money look, I will say that. But he's hit this line in every single game without Trae Young and Kristaps Porzingis, averaging 27.6. He has hit 25 multiple times. So if you do bet this, it might be a bit of a sweat on whether he gets 25 or not. But I'll leave you with that, and then I'll talk about Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Very similar. Without Porzingis, without Trae Young, averaging 23.8 points, over in 4 out of 5. The other thing about both of these guys, they have a pretty good matchup here. Jalen Johnson, 76 allow the 4th most in transition, and they allow the 3rd most points in the restricted area. That's pretty much where Jalen Johnson lives. Great matchup to score some points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, great matchup here as well. The 76ers give up points in transition, and they get murdered in the pick and roll. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker has a great matchup. Jalen Johnson has a great matchup. They both perform extremely well without Kristaps Porzingis. I just decided to do a bitch-ass parlay with this. So I took Jalen Johnson for 20 points. All right. He's cleared that very easily. And I've taken Nickeil Alexander-Walker for 15 points in a parlay. I got this for like minus 110, 115, something like that. It was like playable odds, in my opinion. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 15 points. Jalen Johnson, 20 points. Now, if you put that in a parlay and the odds aren't good enough for you, the pivot there I would consider would be Dyson Daniels for 4 rebounds. He's been rebounding like an absolute beast. Been rebounding very well lately. And if you look at the 4 rebounds on the season, he's hit this in 17 out of 20 games. So he should see the minutes here. Games over 30 minutes, he's hit this in 15 out of 16. So if you're not getting good enough odds for Jalen Johnson, 20, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 15, then you can add Dyson Daniels to get 4 rebounds, and that'll take it over plus money for you as well. So, yeah, that's all I've got down for now. But I do have quite a few leans waiting on like some injury news as always before I make any commitments to any others. But I'll take you through some of the quick leans that I do have, my thoughts on the game. Then I get the hell out of here and hopefully I see you tomorrow. So I'll see you like the video, subscribe to the channel because I'm doing this every single day. Let's do this. All right. First game, we've got the Rockets versus the Jazz, a relatively early game. Keontae George, Ace Bailey, we don't know if they're going to play. Kevin Durant comes back for the Rockets. Steven Adams, he might play. So I don't necessarily have anything in this game. I considered a Lauri Markkanen under because it's a tough matchup here against the Rockets, but in terms of how he plays, the matchup's actually not too bad. The Rockets do get murdered above the break, and if Laurie Markkinen has a good shooting day, I can definitely see him going over. Kevin Durant, I wanted to look at his over, but the points line is relatively high, 25.5, and there's risk here that Houston blow them out as well. So high line, risk a blowout. Didn't want to entertain that. Celtics versus the Cavs. Now, Donovan Mitchell, whenever he versus the Celtics, it's like, oh, this feels like an automatic play to bet his over in points, because look at his history against them. Over in 9 out of his last 10, just killing them when it comes to scoring. But this season, at the start of the season when he played them, only scored 15 points. Didn't have the volume. So history might repeat itself, and he comes back and he scores another 30 here. Looking at the matchup data, like Boss have been pretty good at limiting points in the pick and roll and in transition. So the matchup's probably not the best, but history says Donovan Mitchell absolutely cooks against the Celtics. One that I considered, not sure if I can get there. The other is Jaylen Brown, who's just on a tear right now, scoring a ton of points as a late, 41, but he is in a back-to-back. So I liked what I saw here for Jaylen Brown against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They get smoked in isolation. They don't send too much help. But then I found this trend, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but this is the reason why I'm not betting it. In back-to-back games this season, he's played 3 back-to-backs, and he's struggled in every single one of them. Take a look at this. Jaylen Brown's averaging 28.8 points this season. In back-to-backs, under in all 3, averaging 15.3. And 2 of these teams suck, the Pelicans and the Grizzlies, and then the Rockets. So there's usually a blowout impact here. So blowout win, blowout loss, and then a blowout win. Jaylen Brown hasn't been too effective in those games. This game against the Cavs, we've got an 8-point spread. The Cavs might get a blowout win here. I'm not too sure. So Jaylen Brown, I liked it, then I didn't like it, and then eventually I left it. We got the Raptors versus the Knicks. Who did I actually consider betting on here? There was definitely Josh Hart, which we've played. Brandon Ingram in a bounce back spot. The matchup's somewhat difficult, but the usage should remain high without RJ Barrett. Scotty Barnes, his usage without RJ Barrett's been good too. So I was thinking about him for scoring. I know that the Knicks do allow a lot of points to spot up shooters as well. So Scotty Barnes might have some looks, but the line feels a bit right, especially with them on a back-to-back. His rebound line's been at 7.5. All these games where he's had 10-plus boards, although he's up against the Knicks, the matchup's pretty difficult when it comes to rebounding. So, but at the same time, Scotty Barnes is their main rebounder, that's for sure. Then we've got the Hawks versus 76ers. Yeah, these Philly guys, I didn't really take a deep dive into them because I don't know who's playing or not. Onyeka Okongwu, could take a look at his threes again. But remember, we bet 2 threes for Onyeka Okongwu in that last game. It was at plus money. Now the same thing, 2 threes is at minus 180 against Philly. So I don't love that for Onyeka. One that I thought about was this guy, Mo Gay. No Kristaps. He's projected to play more than 20 minutes. So these are his numbers without Porzingis in the lineup. Over in 6 out of 8, averaging 10 points per game. Philly have their own injuries in their front court. So Mo Gay should have a somewhat easier matchup, I would say. But yeah, I don't mind that. It might be something I bet in the morning, to be honest. I don't think too many people are going to be betting that. So the line's probably not going to move. So I can get back to that one. Thunder versus the Blazers. I was looking for an under here for the Portland Trail Blazers. The main one that I liked here was Donovan Clingan, under 9.5 points. So he's already faced OKC twice this season. He went under in both games. One of these games, Portland actually won, and he still went under anyway. Awful matchup here against the OKC Thunder. I get there's no Hartenstein, but I don't know. OKC is just that good, right? So I considered a Clingan look, but he's questionable. We don't even know if he's going to play or not. And then for OKC, the main person I spent time considering here was Jalen Williams. I'm looking at his points, his assists, rebounds, his PRA perhaps. It all looks pretty good if you ask me. Like, even though he only played 29 minutes in his last game, he's only going to play 29 minutes again. The potential was there for a really strong game. He was only 3 from 12 from the field, right? Shot very poorly in his first game back. Expected. If he shoots better and maintains that volume, he'll cover his points line. If you look at his rebounds, he had 13 rebound chances. His rebound line's only 4.5. If there's an improvement in his rebound numbers and the chances stay the same, then he could definitely cover. With his assists, he covered the 4.5 assists easily with 8 assists in that last game. 15 potential assists, right? If he's going to get that many potential assists, rebound chances, and shot attempts, he should cover the PRA easy. The problem is we're dealing with a small sample size of data, and it's often misleading. Being a little bit more conservative around this, I looked at how he normally performs when he sees about 30 minutes, because I think they're going to cap him to 30 minutes in this game. If we look at all of his games where he's played between 25 and 30 minutes, you can see here he's hit 15 out of his last 27, his PRA. Points wise, 15 and 27, assists 10 out of 27, and rebounds 13 out of 27. So, yeah, it's like he's not going to see the minutes, although that first game looks like he had a lot of opportunities. Historically, when he plays 25 to 30 minutes in a game, doesn't necessarily cover the line well enough to say that there's an edge there. So it's either he plays the way he typically would in that 25, 30 minutes, or the opportunities that were presented to him in that last game against Phoenix, that could be his new baseline. And then suddenly this rebounds, assists, and points line is extremely low. So a bit risky in my opinion, something I might want to have a taste at in the morning. We'll see how I feel when I wake up. Spurs versus the Wolves. Nothing too much really screamed out to me in this one. Lines seem right. De'Aaron Fox points perhaps 23.5. He's in a nice bounce back spot here against the Wolves. He was getting 25 plus in every game prior to that. His matchup is pretty decent as well. The Wolves give up points to the pick and roll. Other high usage guards have had a pretty strong scoring game against the Wolves as well. And the Wolves are also in a back-to-back. So De'Aaron Fox, one that I considered for sure. What else have we got here? Grizzlies versus the Kings. There's a lot that I considered in this one, but didn't ultimately take. Let's talk about it. Zach LaVine over 20.5 points. So this game against Phoenix was when that fan went crazy when screaming at Zach LaVine for being a bum. Zach LaVine responded with 34 points, 23 attempts. He was aggressive as hell. He scored 26 points in his last game against the Grizzlies, and that's when the Kings were blown out. So he was the only person who had a strong offensive game. And in soft matchups, he's actually done decently well. So if we just look at the games where he's versing teams in the bottom half of the league in defensive rating, he's over this line in every single game. What we've seen is when Zach LaVine has a tough matchup, he absolutely crumbles. But in softer matchups, like this against the Grizzlies, Zach LaVine has performed very well. But my hesitation there is that it's Zach LaVine. And as much as I can find some trends, I still doesn't give me the confidence to assume it's going to happen next with Zach LaVine. So that's my hesitation. Also considered Keegan Murray. His points look good. His rebounds look good. Everything's trending up. His minutes are up there. His points look good because the volume of shots are just crazy. They've given him the green light by the looks of things. The matchup here against the Grizzlies is not the best one, but Keegan Murray will see usage. He'll see minutes, that's for sure. Russell Westbrook rebounds, one that I considered over 7.5. He had 7 rebounds in that blowout loss against the Grizzlies in only 21 minutes. 7.5. And with a 3.5 point spread, the Kings are expected to keep this one closer at home. They've been a little bit better over the last couple of games, I must say. But Westbrook rebounds, that's probably the only Westbrook angle that I would lean towards. And then on the Grizzlies side, we're already betting on Vince Williams. 2 that I considered. One was Zach Edey rebounds. So he had 15 and 19 rebounds in his last 2 games. He played over 30 minutes in both of those. He's projected to play more than 30 minutes here against the Kings, and he's got a really good matchup. Second most rebounds allowed to centers. They get dominated on offensive boards, defensive boards. Total rebounds, they get smashed. 12 out of the last 15 centers have covered their rebound line against them. Zach Edey only had 4 rebounds against them in that blowout win, though. So that's one thing that made me hesitate. 11.5 rebounds is relatively high, but the matchup doesn't get any better for Zach Edey here. So that's one that I considered. The other was Jock Landale. So the thing is, because I'm considering both of them, kind of talked me off betting on it. But Jock Landale points, 8.5 points is his line. He had 21 points in that blowout win against the Kings in only 15 minutes. So he absolutely smoked them. He's been scoring very well lately. And even his rebounds, 4.5 boards for Jock Landale. He's covered this extremely well, even with Zach Edey in the lineup. So we just look at the games with Edey in the lineup, over in 5 out of 7 when it comes to his boards, over in 4 out of 7 when it comes to his points. In the right matchup, Jock Landale's killed him. So, yeah, I think the decision I need to make is out of Jock Landale and Zach Edey, which one do I want to bet on? So I'm a little bit uncertain on that at the moment, but that's why they're leans. Then we got the Pelicans versus the Lakers, and I really from this, there's nothing on the Pelicans that I really like, but I want to bet more on Austin Reeves. Now, there's two ways. I'm going to give you some insights here, and I'm probably going to end up playing this as a value play of mine, depending on if LeBron James plays or not. So if LeBron James does play in this game, then I'll be betting Austin Reeves under his assists. So his assist line's at 6.5. It's at 5.5 in some places at plus money, but I'll be looking to bet he's under. Because since LeBron came back, Austin Reeves' role is purely to score, not to create an offense. You already got Luka and LeBron doing that. Like, look at his assist numbers with LeBron James back. 2.8 assists per game and only 6.5 potential assists. His assist line is at 6.5. He would need like 12 to 13 potentials in order to cover that. And I get the matchup is soft here against the Pelicans. I completely understand that. But this line should not be 6.5 unless LeBron James was out. So if LeBron James is out, then suddenly Austin Reeves averages 8 assists per game. So depending on what the news is, that's going to indicate how I play Austin Reeves, because I like him to score already. His points line, I do like the over there. His rebound line, I like the over. The points and rebounds really is what I'd be looking at. Regardless of LeBron James plays, Austin Reeves points and rebounds is one that I like. But the biggest edge, I think, is within the assists. If LeBron James is not there, you take the over. If LeBron James is there, you bet the under. Alternatively, you can bet on both of those right now, and then you can cash out on whichever one, depending on the news. That's a different approach you could take. But Austin Reeves, I like what I'm seeing here. It's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious. But it all comes down to La Sunshine James. Is he going to play or not? That I do not know, unfortunately. So that's a wrap on all the leans. I hope you guys found that valuable. Like the video, subscribe, drop me a comment down below and let me know if you did. But if you are betting on this slate, I wish you the absolute best of luck. Make sure you gamble responsibly. I appreciate you for making it this far. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.